Hey now, it's Matt Haywood from StarWarsTime.net. I'm assuming if you've made it over here, that's because you've been watching our Star Wars videos on Entertainment Buddha's YouTube channel. I just want to give you the final reminder that any and all Star Wars content that we used to share on Entertainment Buddha's YouTube channel will now be hosted on our own Star Wars Time YouTube channel. This includes what you're about to watch, the Easter egg recap and reviews from Star Wars Resistance, the reference breakdowns, you name it. Pretty much any video content we were doing that was Star Wars related over on Entertainment Buddha's YouTube channel, it will now be moving forward on the Star Wars Time channel. So if you're here, that means you got the message over on the EB side. We appreciate you from taking the step, coming with us on this journey. We're going to have a new Star Wars site. It's out there. It's up now, StarWarsTime.net. Go check it out. Follow us on our socials. This is exciting. We are separating the Force from EB and starting it with Star Wars Time. So appreciate you making it this far. Let's push on and subscribe. May the Force be with you, always. Hey now, Matt Haywood here to do this week's Easter egg and Star Wars franchise reference breakdown of the latest episode of Star Wars Resistance, which was titled Synara's Score. This episode was packed with Easter eggs and references. I counted 13 in total. So let's get down with the breakdown of this episode's Easter eggs and franchise references. Alright, so while I said there was a bunch of Easter eggs and references, I still had to stretch on some of them, such as this first one here. So right at the beginning of the episode, we learned that the Colossus is having issues with its defense systems, and in particular, while Doze is talking with Yeager, they bring up turbo lasers. Now, we've heard this before from the Star Wars franchise. Turbo lasers were used on the Death Star trench run. Turbo lasers are on most of the starships in the Star Wars universe. So, like I said, while it's a stretch, it's definitely a valid reference for Star Wars. Alright, next up we have another just pure reference, and this comes when Kaz is at the junk dealer kind of asking for some parts they need. And among the parts on the list that the junk dealer's kind of making them fun of, because who's going to have all this stuff on a fuel station, but Kaz is looking for Kyber Crystals. So Kyber Crystals, huge reference for the Star Wars franchise. I mean, obviously we know these were big in Rogue One. They helped to fuel the Death Star's laser, but they're even more important than that. Kyber Crystals are what make up a Jedi or Sith lightsaber, right? Without those, no saber. So big reference. It's kind of cool. Kaz looking for Kyber Crystals. You never know what you're going to get in Star Wars Resistance. That's why I like it. And next up, we have a straight-up Easter egg, and that is the appearance of a pit droid in Star Wars Resistance. Pit droids were first introduced to the galaxy back in The Phantom Menace, right? You know, Watto's shop, Jar Jar dicking around with one, so there you go, pit droids on the Colossus. And the next one is another reference, not an Easter egg, but when Tam is talking to Synara about some parts she needs, she mentions that she may be able to find the chip in an old Y-Wing. So again, a reference to the original trilogy. Y-Wings were the Rebels bombers. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, this episode was packed full of references. Few Easter eggs, but lots of references. And this Y-Wing was just another example. Right, up next we have another Easter egg, and this is an Imperial speeder bike reference. There you go, you can see it. This was in Synara's garage, or the scavenger's garage, but you can see it up there. It's definitely the chassis of an Imperial speeder bike, first introduced in Return of the Jedi. So there you go, you can check out what they look like, but I'm pretty sure that's a dead-on match. So another nice little Easter egg in this episode of Resistance. And the Easter egg train keeps on rolling with this next one. As you can see, if you're familiar with Star Wars, you know that this is a shield generator. In particular, one that we used to see on Imperial Star Destroyers up on their bridge. In fact, there's a scene in Return of the Jedi during the climactic space battle where some A-Wings blow up the shield generator to take out a Super Star Destroyer. So I thought it was cool that the Colossus is using similar technology. I don't know if they repurposed it from an old Star Destroyer, but it is protected by an Imperial-style shield generator, or what I like to call the Imperial Shield Ball. Give me another Easter egg, my friends, because this is what we got in the next one, and that is the fact that these pirates, at least in this series, love to repurpose old Imperial armor. As you can see here, we have a pirate fully decked out in original trilogy Stormtrooper armor, obviously with slight piratey mods to it, but you can see stuff like this throughout. I'm just going to stop mentioning as Easter eggs at this point in time. The pirates in Star Wars Resistance love wearing old Stormtrooper armor or Imperial style armor. Fact. Done. Let's move on. Alright, I lied about bringing up more Easter eggs about pirates wearing Imperial armor, because here's another one. This guy to me looks like he's wearing some form of modified snowtrooper helmet at least. And then the next Easter egg, might as well just bring it up. Here we have another furry looking pirate. This guy almost looks like he's of Zeb's species from Star Wars Rebels, but you can see even he's wearing some Imperial garb. He's got Imperial officer symbols all over his belt, his sash, his Chewbacca thing, whatever you want to call it. So there you go. There's 2 more Easter eggs of pirates wearing Imperial era armor or garb. Okay, maybe I should have looked at my notes, because there's one more Easter egg of a pirate wearing Imperial era garb. Here's this guy. Very creative use of a stormtrooper helmet, by the way. Okay, I think that's it. Is that it? Yes. Yes, that's definitely it on pirates wearing Imperial era armor and garb in Star Wars Resistance. On to the next one. Alright, sorry for all that pirate stuff, but now we'll move into a reference. So you can see here, you look at these characters, one's just a random character, but he looks like to be the same species as Kit Fisto from the prequel era. And, you know, Kit Fisto was a Nautolan, I believe. He was a Jedi. He had the cool looking tentacles coming off of his head and those big glassy dark eyes, and he got his ass kicked by Darth Sidious. But either way, here we have a reference back to the prequel era in Resistance. And coming at you now is another species reference, if you will, for this Star Wars franchise, and that is we have Trandoshans in Resistance. In particular, they're fighting with the pirates. This guy is. There seem to be multiple Trandoshans fighting for the pirates. And Trandoshans, if you don't know, I mean, they've been in Star Wars lore forever. First introduced, I'd say, with Boss the Bounty Hunter and Empire Strikes Back. But they're also touched on heavily in EU stuff that's now been aborted. But Trandoshans, definitely a big species in the Star Wars universe and now in Resistance. Alright, and the final item of note, scene of note, Easter egg of note comes in the form of Kragan the pirate leader's spaceship, which looks to me to be a modified version of an Imperial shuttle from the original trilogy era. It even looks like it might even have some B-wing parts in there. But it's definitely a mishmash of ship parts from the original trilogy era, no doubt about it. I mean, we know the pirates love scavenging this type of gear and gadgets, as evident in their garb and armor. So this doesn't surprise me that Kragan has piecemealed the ship together from an Imperial shuttle. And like I said, it looks like even potential Rebel ship parts in there too.